For the last 2 years, we have been traveling all over Southeast Asia. We've seen some amazing things. And I've talked about a lot of these countries. I've talked about Laos, I've talked about Malaysia, I've started to talk about Singapore, and we talked a lot recently about Thailand and Vietnam, but I never talked about Cambodia and what it was like living there, the experiences out there, teaching out there, and just the day-to-day life. So that ends today. We are going to focus on some of the aspects of living, retiring, and working in Cambodia, and why it would be a good solution for a lot of people and what you could expect out of it. Living in Cambodia is an amazing experience, and coming here for the first time, living here for the first time, it was such a change if you're from the West, as the pace of the country and the culture are so different than a lot of Asia. And being somebody from a tropical state of Hawaii, I really loved how the weather is. It's very hot, it's tropical here, and even during the rainy season. So let's sit back, let's talk a little about Cambodia. And coming here, you need a visa. And the visa process is very simple in Cambodia. Go online, do the e-visa. It's $36. That's all you pay. That's all you need. Get to the border, show them your e-visa. They'll stamp you in. You're done. I strongly suggest doing this instead of doing any VOAs. VOAs are the same price. They're typically $36. But going to borders, be it the airport or even a land border, every time I've went and everybody I've talked to that have done VOAs, going through different land borders, it's always this $8 to $10 fee. So get your e-visa, do it online. It's through the government. Everything's good. You get here, no fees, no hassling, no vendors, nothing. So once you do finally get to Cambodia, transportation is your next thing. In Cambodia, tuk-tuks are huge. They're literally everywhere. I think Thailand's known for tuk-tuks, but I really feel Cambodia has more. Like literally, if you're out in the countryside, if you're in Siem Reap, the bigger cities, Phnom Penh, if you're out in Kep down south, there's always like 20 tuk-tuks just like hanging out waiting for somebody. A lot of people prefer just to rent a bike, especially if you're living out here long term. Bikes will run between $15 to $30 a month. Now, if you do prefer to drive a car, you have an international driver's license, which you need, you're looking between $120 to up to $250 if you start getting like SUVs and stuff like that. I will say driving a car in Cambodia is so much better than it was driving in Vietnam. It's not as modern as you would see in Thailand because the roads are a little rockier, or I guess, yeah, rockier. But it is definitely something you can do. It's easy to do. You're not worried about motorbikes running into you, and you're just not getting harassed. It's much easier. Now, when it comes to the foodies out there, because I know a lot of you guys that watch my videos, you like the food videos. You can find anything in Cambodia. And I gotta say, Cambodia's food culture will surprise you. It surprised the hell out of me. I've been all over Southeast Asia, and a big part of all of Asia, Southeast Asia rather, is the food culture, the street markets, the street food. And the type of food that you get isn't just limited to Cambodian food or Khmer food. It's also a lot of Chinese food, Vietnamese food, Thai food, Lao food. You'll find it all out here, and it's so good. Which brings me to the international food. And I'm going to give you a little secret about my life in Vietnam. I lived in Vietnam for 7 or 8 years, and I was all over Vietnam. And the best pho I ever had was this little small town called Lai Châu. Best pho I've ever had is in northwest Vietnam. Cambodia is the second best pho I've ever had in my life. The food there is awesome. The international food's on point. The pizzas they make they taste like pizzas. They have Spanish food out there. It tastes like Spanish food. The Thai food is actually really good. The Indian food is phenomenal. The international food out here, it's so worth the visit. When you do come out here to Cambodia to find the food, find a temple. They're not hard to find. Find a temple. This is where all the really good food is at. This is where restaurants will bring out a stall and sell their restaurant food. And this is where you also find international and Cambodian food, all by the temples. I don't know what's going on with these temples, but every temple I've ever found in Cambodia is surrounded by food marts, and they're so good. Now, before we get into the next part of working, I want to talk real quick about money in Cambodia, because this comes up a lot. Cambodia has its own money. It's called Riel, R-I-E-L, I believe it is. It is not nationally or internationally recognized by the World Bank, meaning this money has no value, it's not worth the paper it's printed on once you leave Cambodia. A lot of transactions you do in Cambodia are going to be a mix of their real money, R-I-E-L, and USD. My advice with this is try to use their money over USD. I know when you first get there, you're probably going to be obligated to use USD. That's perfectly fine. Do what you have to do. The reason for this, though, is everything is rounded up to the nearest dollar. So if the bottle of water is ideally converted from their money to our money or US money, you're looking at like 20 to 60 cents for a bottle of water. But if you're using USD, they're just gonna round it to $1. So ideally, you're paying for 4 waters and getting 1. So use their money when you can. And also, when you go to ATMs, it's gonna ask you, do you want USD or do you want real? So you're gonna get those options even at the ATM. And my final advice on this, when you leave Cambodia, convert it all to USD before you leave. Wherever you go, they will not take this money. They will not convert this money. It doesn't matter if you have a stack of their largest bills. It has no value outside of Cambodia. Don't think you're gonna take it back home or to another part of Asia and convert it. They will not do it. I've tested this in 5 different countries in Southeast Asia just to see what they would do. And they all looked at it like, nah. Like they knew exactly what it was. They're like, nah, we don't take that, dude. So moving out to Cambodia is an awesome experience. But one of the bigger attractions out here is teaching English. Western people love to come out here and teach English. And the reason for that is you don't need a 4-year degree to legally work out here. And you can also get a work permit and a work visa out here without a 4-year degree. All that's required is that you have a 120-hour TEFL. Now, if you already have one, you literally have everything you need to get a job out here. If you don't have a TEFL, check the link below. I put a special discount for you guys on this one for this video. Get your TEFL. You can do it while you're at home. It usually takes a weekend to get it done, and that will be all you need to get a job out here. And the best part of it is this TEFL is accepted all over Southeast Asia, and it also never expires. I'm still using the same TEFL that with the link below, that I got back in 2014, 2015, I think it was. Still using the same one, and I've used it all over Asia. Now, when it comes to the pay varies, like extremely actually. It's like $500 a month up to $2,000 a month. And the reason for this is more of like school demand. A lot of classes are seasonal. A lot of schools will pay you hourly, but they can't fill a classroom. Students going to English centers and stuff in Cambodia isn't as big as it is in Thailand and Vietnam. So you definitely want to get like a salary type agreement if you can. Now, if you do have a master's degree, and sometimes people with bachelor's degrees can pull this off, you can get a job at an international school or a university. This is where the pay is higher and your job security is way better. With that being said, on average, to be realistic with you guys, you're looking at about $800 to $1,200 a month is pretty much the average. Now, when it comes to housing, you're looking at between like $300 to $500 a month for an apartment. This could actually go up pretty high. When I was out there, I rented a condo for a month, and it came out to $1,700 a month. It was right on the Kep Beach though. So there's definitely a price hike the more modern you go. But on average, if you're in a main city, if you're a teacher, stuff like that, you could look at be paying in between like $300 to $400 a month for a basic apartment. If you're outside the city, you might be looking at like $200 or $300. Now, a warning about you guys going out there with no degree to teach. Understand, because Cambodia doesn't have this requirement, it's very competitive. So you need to have a strong CV. You need to have some good work history. You need to have good lesson plans, good activities. If you are lacking to do this, or you have no idea what you're doing as a teacher, that's perfectly fine. If you have your TEFL, you're ready to go, you're in Cambodia or you're about to go out there, check below. I put together this teacher's package. It shows you how to make a lesson plan. It gives you 10 lesson plans already done, ready to use, and it also gives you 24 activities that will be good to go. This package will be the best $25 you ever spend when it comes to getting work in Cambodia, because it will pretty much guarantee you ace everything that they require from you. So have a strong CV, go there with a smile, and know what you're doing. You'll outshine a lot of these teachers. Now, every country I go to, I get the same question. David, can I retire in this country? So, great news with Cambodia, you definitely can retire. It's an awesome thing that you can do, and they allow it. There's no issues. It's a pretty straightforward process. Now, I do want to forewarn a lot of people. Cambodia is a very developed country. Cambodia is also in a lot of rural areas. The country is quite small. There's like 4 or 5 main cities, and then past that, it's just farmland, factory cities, and stuff like that. And a factory city in Cambodia is pretty much a farm town. And things like public access, public health, and stuff like that is also very limited, like very, very limited. We'll get more into the health part of this later, but do understand you are walking into more of a third world status country that's starting to develop. It is definitely an amazing country. It's definitely a chill. As somebody from Hawaii, I love Cambodia. I think it's awesome. The vibe is so relaxed. It's so chill. It's not up and busy like Los Angeles. It's just a calm town. So do keep that in mind. With that being said though, let's get into what's actually required to retire in Cambodia. So to retire in Cambodia, you have to meet the basic requirements, which is you have to be 55 years of age. You have to be legally retired in your country. Past that, you also have to have proof of money that you can survive in Cambodia for 12 months. You should have some money saved up. Don't go there trying to get a retirement visa with $4 in your checking account. They're gonna look at you like you're a little ridiculous. If you have like 3 to 5 months worth of money, which is like $3,000 to $5,000, you'll be better off. Now, if you have a pension, this is awesome. This will show them you got a month-to-month guaranteed income from your government, and this is a good enough requirement. So once you meet these requirements, you have your passport ready to go. You got your 3 headshot photos. The cost for this stuff is $290 will get you the initial retirement visa. This only lasts for a year, and every year you have to renew it, just like Thailand. And the renewal for it is $275. Every year you pay it, you're done. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, what do you get when you retire in Cambodia? It's quite simple. You get 12 months, unlimited back and forth access. You pretty much have the same rights as any Cambodian resident to an extent, and I'll get into that in a second. And the next one is you can buy a car. You're no longer limited to just renting. You can actually buy a car in Cambodia, get a custom plate, whatever you want to do. And then the last one is, this one's kind of tricky. You can buy a house in Cambodia, but it has to be from the second floor up. So this is pretty much a condo. Say that you can buy and own a condo in Cambodia. No problems. As long as you have a retirement visa, you're qualified to do this. Anything on the first floor you can't buy. So this is like a single family home. Now this doesn't mean that you can't rent one, but that is your restriction, is you can only buy condos that are on the second floor and above. You can't buy anything on the bottom. You can't buy a whole complex. You can't buy single family homes. And the most important part, where do you retire? So Cambodia has 5 main cities, and I'm going to apologize right now because I'm going to destroy 2 of these names. But the 5 main cities are Phnom Penh, Siem Reap, Sihanoukville, I'm so sorry, Kampot, and Kep. These are the 5 main cities where people, typically foreigners, will retire. And they also offer a lot of amenities that you would have as a Western person, help finding real estate, medical assistance, and all that great stuff. You'll find them in these cities typically compared to other cities around Cambodia. Now the next one is the culture and the people. Now Cambodia is a very religious country, kind of like how Laos and Thailand is. It's very Buddhist. Cambodia is no different. And you'll see this in the architecture all over the country. The main cities, a lot of the massive buildings, government buildings, and just like shopping center stuff will have a Buddhist temple vibe to them on how they're built. So with that being said, it is very important to understand Buddha, the king, are not things that you should be joking about. Do keep that in mind. Respect that part of the culture of the people. The people are super nice, but don't go in there and start insulting their kings and their temples. They will light off on you. But past that, the people they don't get in your business. They're not harassing you. If they ask you if you need a ride, a taxi, or a vendor asks you want to buy something, and you say no, they're just like, whatever, and they walk off. They're not rude about it. They accept no as an answer. People typically don't interact with each other in Cambodia unless somebody interacts with them. Meaning, if you're walking by a bunch of vendors or Cambodian people, they're not even going to really look at you unless you stop and say hi to them. Now, I will share with you something about language that I learned the hard way. Now, I was always told Cambodia, they can understand some Lao and some Thai. So when I first got there, I tried speaking basic Thai, like counting to order stuff and stuff like this. They have no idea what you're talking about. Khmer is their national language, well, the main one. And it has nothing to do with Thai, even though the written language looks similar. It is polar opposite. They can't really read. Now, what I did learn, though, if you speak Chinese, no matter where you are, the farm towns or the main cities, most people will understand basic Chinese. And this is the best way to get around. Now, if you speak English, you're perfectly fine within the city limits, but once you do get out to the farms and the factory cities or towns, you are going to be limited to pretty much pointing at stuff, speaking Khmer or speaking Chinese at this point. Now, since we're talking about the people, let's talk about the Western people, because this comes up a lot actually. I even asked a few teachers about it that lived out there. When it comes to other Westerners in Cambodia, most of them are teachers saving money because they're planning to make a big trip. They do what I do or something like that, right? Or they're just retired, they got their own thing going on. Most Western people aren't going to interact with you as a Western person. It'll be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And that's kind of it. It's very small talkish. Western people don't typically interact. a lot with other Western people out there. Now, if you are out about town and you go to a bar and stuff like that, you'll meet Western people, talk with them, have fun, chill. You might make a long-term friend, definitely. They're not rude. They're just not social, if that makes sense. So with that being said, I strongly advise making friends with the locals. Learn some of the language, mingle with the local people. It'll make your life better in Cambodia. It'll make things easier, 100%. And it's just, I wouldn't rely on making other Western friends unless you work with them or they're your neighbor. Now, the last one I want to talk about is healthcare. This gets asked all the time, especially when it comes to retirement. What's the healthcare like in Cambodia? Does it have value? And the short answer is no. The Cambodian healthcare is very restrictive, and it's almost limited to pharmacies for the most part. If something's wrong, you go get some medicine at a local pharmacy. Take some drugs, call it a day. That's kind of the cure-all for a lot of stuff. Now, when you get outside the two main cities of Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, the medical availability becomes even less. The pharmacies start turning into people's houses where they sell bread, cereal, milk, soda, and Tylenol on the side, right? It turns into a gas station kind of a situation. So you will run into that. When it comes to doctors, money does buy you a better doctor in this respect. So if you need something serious, you're going to be spending more to get a better doctor. You can get a cheap doctor. Typically, from what I've learned, they just give you drugs called a day. A more expensive doctor will typically give you the same drugs, but they might also give you some kind of like result or solution, or even tell you where to go, like a different country, to get this taken care of. Now, for you guys that are staying in Cambodia long term, they have this program called HEF. It's a government supported, I think is the word, health program. It runs you $75 to $95 a month. It's literally a health plan. You have to be working in Cambodia or be a retiree to qualify for this. And again, it runs you like $75 to $95 a month. It is pretty much just it's insurance. It covers all the basic stuff for you. If you need anything serious, you're probably going to have to do some out-of-pocket stuff. And again, if it's something real serious, you're most likely going to be recommended out of the country to Thailand. And I think Singapore was the other one that came up. That for anything serious. Everything in Cambodia is just like basic checkups. So there you have it. Overall, Cambodia is an amazing country to live in. It's an awesome option. It's calm as hell. Like seriously, really calm. It's relaxing. You have the big city life that isn't too crazy, but it's still got that big city life vibe to it. But you also have the countryside and the relaxation. You got the beaches, you got the resorts, and you got holiday vacation spots to go to. And the best part of this is Cambodia is not a big country. Like, it's literally a quite small country. So traveling anywhere in Cambodia doesn't take a long time. And the only real downfalls, especially if you're retired, is the infrastructure, and the healthcare is still in the very beginning of development. So you're not going to get a lot of westernized stuff. You're not going to see a lot of westernized infrastructure going on. Past the main cities, you really don't see a lot of anything but huts, to be honest with you, in factories. So it's an overall safe country. I mean, past pickpocketing, the crime in Cambodia is some of the lowest in Southeast Asia. So check the links below. Get your TEFL. Get that stuff done. It's an insurance card out there, man. Get it done. And your visa, go to their government website. Get the e-visa. Don't do any side things. Don't even use my link for this. Go to the government website. Knock it out for $36. You're good to go. Fly over to Cambodia and enjoy your stay. You get 30 days to do whatever you want. It's a long time to see a country that is quite small. So till then, guys, I will see you again.